Hi, I'm Dave Cut, and you're watching another Comic Chat. What up, guys? Back again today with the second and final part of the Sabretooth Wars. The first part got a little crazy and a little bloody. It started with Sabretooth going to each dimension, beating up different versions of himself, and becoming the Alpha Sabretooth, putting together his army, and then going to kill Wolverine. He starts out by killing his son. They capture Laura, X-23. And then he goes off and tries to find this weapon deep underneath Krakoa that should help him defeat Wolverine. But Wolverine ends up intercepting him when he gets down there, but Wolverine gets under a spell. So that's where they pick up. He's under this spell of he's in this old day and they're breaking into this base together trying to get something. So, oh, I still love it. Yeah, the Wolverine in the beginning. So yeah, it starts out with like real world and then what Wolverine sees versus real world and how he's living in the past, you know? You can see the old days how they used to be. And this was all put on by Quentin over here, trapped as a head in a box. And he's still using all his powers and they're after this weapon right here. So you can see him descending. It's kind of funny. He's completely tricked Wolverine into believing that this is like old times. As they dive further and further in here. But really they're just going underwater to underwater of Krakoa to Forge's armory. And then you can see everybody's on their way. The whole island is swarming with Stark Sentinels, and you can see the exiles on their way over there to help Quentin, the head that's trapped, with the seed that's supposed to stop Sabretooth. But, I mean, they make it there and they get under some pretty heavy fire, but then they realize, hey, they have to go underneath. They dive underwater. But just as it looks like Wolverine and Sabretooth kind of arrive at the door. Wolverine's kind of helps him get in, still thinking it's like old times. And then they have to fight the guards. This is why he put them under the spell to begin with, because he knew he couldn't fight all of these guards that Forge had left behind to guard the armory. But, you know, with Wolverine's help, of course. So the exiles start to descend before they get trapped up and kind of set behind schedule. And then it flashes too. You can see X-23, Laura, in her cell before just attacking one of the headless people at the Orchis Station 5. Yeah, that's the Sabretooth home base. You can see she gets them pretty good, you know. They go blow for blow, hit for hit. It does get bloody, but in the end they do end up getting my girl. Getting her back. But as you can see, she got what she needed, which was one of their callers. She is smart. Then you can see the exiles finally make it down to stop Sabretooth and Wolverine from breaking into Forge's tools. But, I mean, honestly, Wolverine's still under a spell, and Sabretooth is powerful as ever and just ends up killing Toad right off the bat, throwing his body at them. And Logan, being under the guise that he is, ends up actually killing one of them. But it was enough to like stop him, wake him up out of like what he was doing. But by then it was kind of too late. He had already gotten the gun that he had came down there for, which was the depower gun, taking away his healing factor so that he can actually finally kill him. You're about to be nothing but a bad memory. That was part 46. Part 47. See the awesome little breakout art. X-23 versus Savage Sabretooth. Starts out in Orchis Station 5. Cloaked in orbit over Krakoa. So this is where X-23 just broke out, and you can see that what she actually just got, the collar, is what can open it. So I'm kind of surprised that they didn't take that with her. Hey, but they're headless. What can you do? And she's out. She immediately jumps out. She's gone. She climbs in the vents to get away. Figures like, hey, if I kill enough of them, it'll clog up the system, and just starts killing. She is savage, man. She's definitely savage. And you can see this epic battle going on. Wolverine can't heal anymore. His healing factor's gone, but he's still got claws. So he's using them. But the exiles are also there too, and they kind of see that, hey, it looks like Logan had killed one of our friends, And Wolverine, yeah, and we lost Toad. They lost a lot of people, and she's like, I don't care if he was under a spell or not. He never meant to kill the Melter, and she's like, I don't care. She's gonna kill him. They've lost so many people. This is after the whole Krakoa incident and M Day, and it's a bunch. So they end up going after him, and you can see, Quentin flashing to his girlfriend Phoebe, trying to warn her, like, hey, I'm in trouble. I'm just ahead now, pretty much, and somebody can come get me because Wolverine needs help. And he's making him do something he doesn't want to do. And that would be right here. He loads him up and he fires it at him. But he didn't really want to kill him because it's still his mind. So he leaves him just barely breathing. I can smell that you ain't dead. Hear your shallow little breaths. So just before he can throw in the final finishing blow, she comes up and smacks him, puts the hurt on him. And even Quentin got in it doesn't matter what happens to me. Yeah, because at this point, he's just trying to help his friends. And he gets Sabretooth and gets them just enough time for them to trap him with the Death Seed. And the Death Seed is just some great big flytrap, Venus flytrap, that stops him. So it seems like they got him. And then the other Sabretooth's plan, the Cloak Sabretooth and the Savage Sabretooth's plan, was to grab Sabretooth's son, Graydon, from the other dimension to come back to kill the Alpha Sabretooth, because they're tired of taking orders from him, and he's just smug, and he should have killed Wolverine when he had the chance. There's been a lot of conflict with this army of Sabretooths. But Grayson, he has no powers, and he kind of hates everybody. All Sabretooths especially. But right when he gets off the bat, he comes out and he's like, takes control of the entire army. Can tell there's not as many as before. And I wonder why. That's because freaking Lore's literally just been going on this killing spree, just going through killing everybody. I mean, can you blame her? I mean, they held her captive before finally meeting the final boss, the savage fucking Sabretooth that cut her jaw off in the beginning when she first got captured. I mean, and claws fly, blood shed, things go down, but honestly, in the end, could it have ended any differently? X-23 ripping her in half. Like, Laura. Jesus. Crazy. But the victory is short-lived as Graydon, as you see, shows up with the Cloak Sabretooth, about to take on Laura. And you can see Wolverine actually is starting to recover back aboard the ship with the exiles after they saved him instead of killing him. Saying, oh, without my powers, I'm gonna need to get a weapon. I'm gonna need to make a stop. There's Sabretooth. There's more. Yeah, he's gonna take on the army. He knows he's got to get a new suit and a weapon, and he knows just the place to do it. Part 48. I think there's like 50 parts to this. So it starts out, Wolverine still recovering. Sabretooth still trapped in the kill seed that was meant for him. Not quite dead, but trapped. As Logan's still reliving his past and everything that's happened, everything that's he's done, everything that he's done to Sabretooth and that Sabretooth is done to him. You know, just reflecting on it after he has been traumatized or hypnotized before by Quentin. You can see Sabretooth still trapped as Laura's about to take on Graydon. She says the X-Force is coming. I hailed them on the con stations already. And he says, what makes you think you'll live long enough to be rescued? And she's good, man. I tell you, she is good. She's like, I disabled your cloaking mechanism. You're seconds away from being attacked by Stark Sentinels. Right before she just freaking jumps. She leaps off the plane. No parachute, no nothing. She leaps right as the Sentinels pull up. Yeah. You can see freaking Wolverine's hands aren't healing anymore from his claws popping out, so he has to get them bandaged. And they end up off the coast of Alaska, and they're kind of confused, like, what is he doing here? And they're unable to see what's going on because there's some kind of mental psychic block that I assume is coming from Graydon. And he just dives after the Stark Sentinels. He has no powers, but he has a ton of hate, and he has a lot of advanced tech. And he uses that tech to kind of take over one of these Sentinels and kind of uses it as like an Iron Man suit. I think it's pretty badass. He's a cool villain. And you can see Laura after she jumped out the plane. Are we screwed? We might be screwed. As she's got to take time to heal because she just jumped out that plane, no parachute. And you can see Wolverine and them flashing to the to Alaska, where they come across bears. It's always Wolverine and bears, man. I tell you, Wolverine and bears. He's like, don't kill them. You know, they're just animals. Just scare them away. Which is pretty much what they do. It's pretty funny. They don't kill them, but they scare them away. And they finally reach this awesome door. The X door. What's in it? We shall soon find out. Actually, just perhaps to everybody getting ready to come back to Krakoa. Get ready for the fight. And then bust out freaking... Look at that. Look at that freaking suit, man. This adamantium armor. This is a Muramasa blade. I'm still hard to kill. Let's go find a fight. As you can see, freaking Quentin's still over here telling Phoebe, like, hey, you know, you guys need to hurry. You know, he's kind of starting to break out. This ain't really working like it should have been. All right. Part 49. Okay, after all of this happened, this is kind of what he's going through inside of this kill seat. This Venus flytrap that's got him trapped. So, you can see he's in like a therapy office inside of it, where he actually ends up reliving all of his old kills through the eyes of the victims, you know? Thinking that, and their whole thought was like, hey, maybe if he saw it from his eyes, you know, the eyes of his victims, like him charging at him, ready to kill himself, it might put a different perspective on it for him. You know, so it goes through each one and kind of reliving all of it, hoping he'd feel some sort of guilt. But then it flashes to Krakoa, where, you know, Graydon's kind of getting tired of the other Sabretooth, who's basically useless at this point, and decides to kill him, before realizing that his suit is about to itself give out on him, because he's, you know, he overridden it, so he decides to self-destruct it, and kills all of the Sentinels. Even Laura is down here like, damn. Like, damn. He's got some power, man. For a dude with no powers, he's got some power. And not too long, everybody's showing up on Krakoa. Coming to, yeah, he's like, even Laura's like, oh, is that my team? They made it. You can see Colossus, Domino, Omega Red, Black Tom, you know, everybody down there. All coming to rescue her. While Sabretooth is still reliving his trauma, going through therapy. All the people he's hurt, everything that he's done. Kids, women, children, friends, everybody. He kills everybody. Thinking like that he would change, you know? Even here they say look, he says no, Victor. I hope that you would experience what you've done to your victims. If you lived in their skin, it would shake free the best part of you. You wouldn't have done these things if you knew what you were putting others through. And then he looks at him and he's like, "I'm sorry, but do you know who I am?" He's so evil, dude. Like I said, I don't know why they thought he would change. And just in time for Wolverine to show up back to Krakoa. Yup, to face Graydon on the beach with his new weapon and sword. While Graydon's waiting for him. Come down here, mutant. Let me show you what I can do. Yeah, he hates all mutants, man. And then it cuts to him just laughing. Like, he's like, you making me relive, all right. You making me relive them has had the opposite effect. It didn't make me feel sad. It got my blood flowing. I'm feeling vigorous. He's just he loved it. And he breaks out, actually. That was it for him. He's done. He broke out. And not even that, he's already on his way. He's climbing up that water. Time to unleash hell. Well, he doesn't know it, but Wolverine's up top fighting his son. Well, Sabretooth's son. All right, part 50, final part. All right, so it cuts to the beach. And Wolverine trying to reason with, Graydon. Listen, Graydon, you don't have to be like your father, and all this other stuff. Trying to turn him. Maybe he's going to be a better person than Sabretooth. But instead, he ends up creating a bunch of Frankenstein sentinels and to hold off the exiles and the other teams from helping Wolverine as him and Wolverine duke it out in one last battle. But that is short-lived as Sabretooth shows up and kills his own son. Straight through the heart, literally. And taunts him. See that, kid? Your daddy did teach you something after all. And that kind of sets off Wolverine, dude. He was not happy. He was like, that was your son. He already killed Wolverine's son in the first book. And Sabretooth doesn't even care. His kid's laying dead right there that he killed him. Doesn't even care. The Sentinels are still fighting. They can't get to him to help Wolverine or kill Sabretooth. They're kind of surprised that Sabretooth is even out of this kill seat anyway. As Sabretooth kind of leads them away from the beach. Wolverine, he kind of just starts running. Try to keep up, bud. And takes them and tries to lead them into this trap. And nobody really knows where they're going because he kind of just keeps going further and further, deeper and deeper. And even Wolverine, he's like, I don't remember seeing this tunnel here ever. Before it is revealed that they're actually going to where the Quiet Council had actually sealed Sabretooth in this pit. And this is where it started it all. See, it says here we are, the Quiet Council, where it all began for me. They had trapped him there, and it actually gave him a bond with this pit. And he's using this bond to entrap and ensnare Wolverine now in this pit of fear as he gets dragged into it. And everybody else can't help him. The exiles and everybody else can't help him because they're still taking on these makeshift freaking sentinels that Graydon left behind. As Logan's just getting dragged down. His armor gets taken off. His sword gets taken away. Yeah, see, they rip his armor off and everything. There's nothing left to protect me but me. And this pit manifests some of his old enemies and some of his old friends and makes him go through like this whole trippy thing. Sabretooth shows up and starts cutting him down. But it's not too long before the rest of the gang shows up. And they actually subdue Sabretooth. And they're getting ready to kill him when Logan steps in and was like, this war is between the two of us. And he wants to finish it just the two of them. So they end up duking it out. He gets his powers back. It turns out that his armor wasn't just meant to protect him. It was meant to reactivate his mutant gene, bringing back his powers. And so he's like, do you hear that, Creed? You're getting all of me, and I'm taking all of you. And they go at it, back and forth, blow for blow. He's got the sword out, the claws out, and they go through it. Drawing blood, slashing, cutting. Yeah, it goes on for a little bit, you know? Back and forth between finally. He takes his arm, takes his hand, before taking his life. He says, this is for my friends. This is for Krakoa. And you can see everybody he's killed in the blade coming down. Before he cuts him up. Yeah, cuts him up and leaves him for good. Everybody's back. And yeah, they killed him. And they kind of killed themselves too. Then it cuts to Quentin finally getting out, getting to spend his last little bit of time with Phoebe. As she says it's time, and finally clicks his head off and lets him die in peace. And everybody's getting kind of ready to go back to where they were and what they were doing. As it all wraps up. They do throw in a little bonus comic that I think is actually kind of funny. It's about Wolverine and Jubilee, just in a bar, and this guy's like, "Oh, I found something real nice, something that would get me a lot of money." And it turns out this dude got a fucking Sentinel that crashed in his in his barn, and as soon as he shows it, of course, the Sentinel targets the mutants that he just brought in and starts trying to kill him. Actually, all three of them. But luckily, the Sentinel has been heavily damaged, so, I mean, he just goes apeshit and kills it. Logan. But he's kind of confused because the guy was like, if it goes after mutants, why did it go after me? And he's like, bub, you've got one blue eye and one brown. Sentinel sensors are set for wide net. So he's saying he's pretty much a mutant too. I mean, it's kind of a mutant gene. As the thing finally blows up, and he's like, "Oh, so I'm a mutant, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, but not particularly a useful one." So yeah, it was pretty cool. A nice little side story that they threw in there. Along with all of the other Wolverines that there has been, classic Wolverine, Army Wolverine, X-23, Weapon X, then the classic Patch Wolverine. Literally all of it. All of his adventures, all of his friends and fights, the whole Captain America, the Silver Samurai, like everything. He's had such a long life with the Beast, Omega Red, Magneto especially. And all the friends that he's lost and all the friends he's had to kill and loves that he's lost. Like he's gone through a long, long, lonely life. to still be here and still be fighting. And that's where it ends. It ends with him walking into a bar before trouble follows. Well, yeah, that was the Sabretooth War, Part 2, and the finale. So, yeah, thanks, guys, for joining in. Until next time.